Hi, this is Advocate Lucinda, your empowerment lawyer. Well, someone asked me to do this video today. They wanted to know more about the cause of action. And because the cause of action is part of the complaint and is really important, I thought it would be a good idea to do this video. So we're going to deal with the cause of action from two perspectives. One, we're going to demonstrate how to identify a cause of action. And we're going to also focus in on the plaintiff's facts. Because without facts, there is no cause of action. And without a cause of action, there is no lawsuit. So let's get started. What is a cause of action? Let me ask you this. Those of you who have sued or you want to sue, what caused you to sue or caused you to want to sue the party? What actions did the party take against you that you sued or want to sue? Think about that. Well, that's your answer. So, to help demonstrate this process, I have a make believe case here. It's just an example. Jane's boss, John, called her honey. She didn't like it, but Jane was afraid that if she said something, she would lose her job. She had been putting up with John calling her honey for a year. Then John started to blow kisses to Jane. Jane struck the nerves to tell John that his blowing kisses made her feel uncomfortable and that she would appreciate it if he didn't do that. John didn't listen, apparently, because he started to touch Jane. For example, when John would go into Jane's office to speak with her, he would stand behind her desk and rub her shoulders. Jane had had enough. So on June 12th, 2022, when John was in her office, Jane told him not to touch her ever again and to stop blowing kisses to her, or she would report him to corporate. John was livid. He turned Jane's chair around and said, while his face was to her face, "You don't seem to want success. It's your loss." The following day, John terminated Jane for alleged lack of productivity. During John's 10 years with the company, he had 30 complaints against him for sexual harassment. The company never addressed the complaints. Not one. Under what legal statute would Jane sue? Now, some of you probably got an answer readily, but for others, you will have to conduct research. There are many ways you can conduct research. Google. Google search terms. For example, unwanting touching, harassment. You could even Google case law for unwanting touching, and you will come up with a cause of action. Now, some time ago, I uploaded a video on finding case law. I will enter that link at the bottom of this video's description page. So, one obvious cause of action is sexual harassment. So, the next thing Jane wants to do is identify the prima facie elements. After research, Jane will learn that the prima facie elements of sexual harassment are as follows. Jane must show that she is a member of a protected group, that she was the subject of unwelcome sexual harassment, that the harassment was based on sex, that her submission to the unwelcome advance or her refusal to submit to a supervisor's sexual advance resulted in a tangible job detriment. She lost her job, and the employer was responsible for the supervisor's conduct. Next, Jane will write out her factual claims. But before we get into Jane's factual claims, if you are suing, I would encourage you, and you're pro se, of course, and you're suing, I would encourage you to use the court ordered pro se complaint. I like that complaint because it has fill ins, so the plaintiff can't miss. Now, the factual claims would be submitted as an attachment to that complaint. So let's get into the factual claims. Let's assume that this represents Jane's statement of claims. 1. I am a female. 2. My supervisor, John, always called me honey. 3. I didn't like it. 4. I didn't say anything because I was afraid John would fire me. 5. A year later, John started to blow kisses to me. 6. I told John that I felt uncomfortable with him blowing kisses to me. 7. Also, I told John I'd appreciate it if he would stop. Now, do you notice that these are short, plain statements? Of course, each plaintiff claims are going to be structured differently. I like to frame the claims in one sentence, in one thought. Let's continue. 8. Later, John would come into my office and rub my shoulders while he spoke to me. 9. On June 12, 2022, I told John to stop touching me. 10. Also, I told John to stop blowing kisses to me. 11. I told John if he didn't stop, I would report him to corporate. 12. John said, you don't seem to want success. 13. He also said, it's your loss. 14. John terminated me on June 13, 2022. 15. John had 30 sexual harassment complaints against him. 16. Records show the company did not investigate the claims. You see what Jane has done here? She stated the facts. She is not arguing. She is not coming to a conclusion. She's just stating the facts. In writing her factual claims, did Jane follow the elements? We talked about that last week. Follow the elements. Did Jane do that? Writing the cause of action. Now, here we have a coming together of the elements and the facts. So let's see. Your causes of action are going to follow your factual claims. So the causes of action here is Title VII. That's the cause of action, sexual harassment. What I like to do is real-edged and incorporate by reference the previous paragraphs, tie them into each other. In the second paragraph on this page, we are telling the court what Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act prohibits. The court knows it, but we need to let the court know. Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act prevents discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. So you've set forth the law regarding the cause of action. So in this next paragraph, the actions of the defendant are summarized to show how they violated Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. And then we have another paragraph here. Nonetheless, the company failed to act, resulting in a termination of my employment, so on and so forth. You see how critical facts are? They support, they're the foundation. For without facts, you really have nothing. You see, I hope this has been helpful to you. And thank you for your questions, your comments. I love making these videos. I love empowering people because employment discrimination is devastating. It can cause irreparable harm, and it does cause irreparable harm. And that's why I am here. So until next time, be empowered.